If this is not what you look like when you pick yourself up off the floor after praying for, I don't know what time is it? Hold on. Wow. It's 4:15 right now. I guess that was about an hour. Yeah, it was about 3:15 when I started praying. I kind of just, I'll show you. I clung to these bars at first with all my strength, and I was falling to the ground and just completely had no fear of hitting my head or falling or anything. I was just clinging, speaking. I spoke. This was the first time in my life that I've ever prayed until I was done praying. I did not get up off the floor until everything that needed to be said was said. I prayed for everything about myself, everything about my family, everything about everyone I know, everyone I love, every cause I care about, and everything else that's going on this entire world. That was a circle of prayer that connected me from myself, stretched all around this entire universe and back. It was like a loop. New message received. I know. They're trying to pick me up and go to Christmas. I have to get dressed real quick. I had to pray first. I can't go to a Christmas party while feeling the stress of the holidays. And I can't understand why, as a saint, I would feel the pressure of the world at all in the first place. It's a new thing to me. I never felt this before today. I mean, since I've been a saint. I mean, before I was saved, yeah. That anxiety, that irritability, that quick-temperedness, that sharp tongue, that bitterness, that jealousy, that ferociousness, that stress, that rush, that, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, I need more, oh, I need to go shopping, and the pressure, the traffic, the brokenness in the relationships, the arguments that come up, the divorce, the suicide, etc. I was actually feeling that, and so I had to stop and pray before this Christmas party. See what happened to my hair in the middle of the prayer? That's funny. Anyway, I did not know whether my nose was broken, whether my forehead was gone and my brain was touching the floor. I mean, literally, I was pressed on the floor so hard that I went numb. I was just weeping and praying and saying everything. Feels really good to get connected from God again. I can't believe that this morning I had a few hours of experiencing what it's like to feel the absence of God, which reminds me what the world is like for other people, what everyone normally experiences. My God, I don't know how you guys survive that. I get through it for like a part of a day. And then I said, fuck this, fuck you, fuck everything else. I'm not doing shit except praying until I'm reconnected with God and I can get rid of this thoughts that are creeping in my mind about violence and revenge and betrayal and all kinds of weird shit. What the fuck? That is not me. And I know that there was spiritual warfare happening. I could feel it. But at the same time, I know better. I know that God has me. I never lost my faith once. The one and only thing that I've been blessed with is a faith that cannot be broken, cannot be shaken, no matter what, because of how it was obtained. the most long, slow, painful testimony of anyone I've ever known. God made himself known to me in order to have me just barely accept him. I was the most rebellious possible. That's why I love Paul so much. The Apostle Paul. Shoutouts to Paul. Love you. Speaking of which, armor up. Ephesians 6:10 through 6:20, the armor of God, where Paul, from his cell, writes his instruction on how to pray on the armor of God. That was part of my prayer also. I always pray about the armor of God. Today was the first time that I changed it based on some of the growth that I've gone through lately, thanks to a couple of things I've seen on YouTube, on 2 channels, one of which is called Awesomeness Fest, and the other one is Infinite Waters, and also, of course, a little bit of Elevation Church. Pastor Stephen Furtick. Oh yeah, last night he put this, or it wasn't last night, I watched it last night. Stephen Furtick just put a Christmas sermon out. It's like about an hour long. It's on YouTube, called Don't Make a Scene by Elevation Church. And that was quite literally and by far the best sermon I have ever heard. Amazing. Amazing. Everybody needs to watch it if you're Christian or curious. Okay. Anyway, I don't remember if I had a point I was getting to or anything that wasn't said. Oh, just basically that my faith can't be shaken because it's not just like a fluke thing that one day I was like, oh, yeah, I think it sounds pretty realistic about all that Christianity stuff. Because honestly, it doesn't. I was an atheist and a paganist, and I was even a Satanist for a while. And I was, what do you call it? Like, I want to say antagonist. I don't think that's the right word. You know, like, not necessarily an atheist, but somebody who just is kind of like, you know, whatever, I refuse to take a stand until I know the truth, or whatever. Like a truth seeker who's like, fuck, I don't know shit, so I'm not gonna say what I believe, you know. That's pretty cool. I was that for a while, you know, but I didn't want to believe in God. It sounded like the most bullshit to me. In a way, it still does. That's why I'm so grateful for my faith and how strong it is. And when I say strong, I mean indestructible. Because I still have so much doubt that I know that if my faith were not indestructible, that I would not be saved right now, that I would probably be dead right now, that I would have given in to some type of impulse to attack somebody, went to jail, or who knows. I mean, whatever. I just know that without the relationship that I have with God, I would have never gotten through 1 hour of the life that I've been living for the last week, month, year. I have this thing up on my Facebook page right now, which is appropriate that it's there today because I was thinking to myself, I really am in the deep ocean. I really am in way over my head. I really need a savior who walks on water. On Facebook, there's a quote from Bethel Music, a YouTube video. It was like a gospel song that I saw on their channel. It's called, I don't know, but the quote from the song is, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. That's pretty much exactly where I'm at right now. It's interesting that I put that declaration on Facebook long before I realized that I was about to be in a deep ocean. Ooh. Speaking of which, quantum physics, the power of words. Be careful what you say. There might not be a coincidence that I put on Facebook, in oceans deep my faith will stand, and now I'm like looking back on that like, oh my God, I'm in the deepest ocean right now. That it is unfathomable to even think about there even being a bottom I could touch. So my only hope of not drowning is being lifted to the point that I literally walk on water next to Jesus. Or fly. So I just found out that I'm a crystal child. Another title that I didn't know that I had, which reminds me of finding out also recently, earlier this year, that I'm an empath. Another title I didn't know that I had. And of course last year finding out that I'm a saint. So that's cool. I've gotten 3 labels in the last year that are a very big honor. Actually 4. Don't forget God's daughter. I was one of the fatherless. I was an orphan. I lost my father a long time ago. I grew up with no daddy and all the consequences that go with that for a girl. So, when God stepped into my life in such a powerful way that I was able to recognize Him as a real father and actually feel His tangible love and presence and guidance and protection and support, like safe in His arms, like actually sit in His lap and tell Him about my day every day and ask Him about His day every day. So becoming God's daughter, very intense experience that you probably haven't had unless you know yourself also to be a saint, which sounds like a presumptuous thing to say, but the only thing it means is that you are truly connected with Jesus, not like caught up in some religion bullshit, okay? There's a very big difference. Religion is clearly indicated as occult. Even in the Bible itself, it speaks against religion. That's retarded. What do you think the Pharisees are? I mean, just do a little tiny bit of research. The point is about love. The point is about Jesus. The point is not to learn from any man, not to learn from any source other than the source that is in you, the source that respects you enough not to enter you until you ask it to. That's why you don't know what this is, because you've never said, Jesus, I ask you to come and live inside my heart. Will you please? You need to give that permission. You need to say, God, I allow you to come inside my body, heart, and mind and work within me. If you have never said that, then that is why you have never experienced God, because God will not rape you. You must go to God and say, please come into me. And that is how you will experience God within you. Ask also for discernment. Very important blessing. That means the ability to tell the difference between truth and lies, love and hate, good and evil. Everything falls into these 2 categories. Everything. Everything. You think that's a human speaking to you? No. That is either the voice of God or the voice of Satan speaking through a vessel. Very rarely does anyone represent their own idea. It takes a lot of conscious evolution on a spiritual level that most people are not anywhere close to actually control your own thoughts and words. Otherwise, you are subliminally influenced by your destiny, which you are living out by God's will, and the conflict of also sometimes living out the distractions placed by the opposition. So, we're like puppets. We're like clay pots full of spirit. Everything is touching. I have been very blessed to come into an understanding of pretty much a unified explanation of life, death, universe, spirituality, God, the human body, physiology, and stuff like that very recently, and it would be really awesome to explain it. But this video is kind of long, so I'm not going to start now. It's been a life-shattering experience, though, to comprehend these epiphanies based on a lot of really cool research, and it gives me hope and purpose and a lot of work to do. I consider 2016 has already started. We're like a month in. Hello, entrepreneurs, let's go. It's time to run the world, change the world. We're out here shaking up the economy, the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the music industry, real estate, health, nutrition. You might think all these different industries are completely super unrelated, but they're actually not. Love to connect the dots for you. However, it's a big book to try to link and connect everything in your mind if you don't already understand how each different industry that's having a current global revolution is interconnected with, it's actually like one unified global revolution. It's really cool. But a lot of different industries are being shaken up completely, like psychology, pharmacology, biology, neuroscience, helping people heal from accidents, all different types of surgeries, diagnoses, mental health treatment, and that's just one category. I mean, I could just literally keep going on and on and on about all of the major changes that are happening globally based on major breakthroughs that have happened in several industries, namely science, for, I will say, 40-ish years. Let's go back to like about approximately the 70s, when some of these discoveries first started being made, and the field work and lab work was being done, and the books were being written, and right now the information's out there. It just takes a lot of work for everyone like myself and many other lovely people who I've had the honor to meet or come in contact with, either in person or on the internet, to actually distribute this information and teach it. It needs to be assimilated. I have still yet to find one source, like one video or one article or one book that actually simply states what the fuck is going on, but there is probably something out there. If I don't find it, I will create it, and that is what I'm working on every day. It's exhausting. And I have a lot of other things going on too. That's just the spiritual work that I do, like behind the scenes, under the surface. And I guess I felt like telling someone for once, because I've just like never prayed like that before, It was hilarious to me to see what I looked like when I was over, because while it was going on, like, I literally was wondering, like, am I dead? Like, I was so spiritually connected from God that I couldn't feel my body. Like, fasting and prayer has really helped me come to another level with my ability to hear God's voice and follow His direction, and celebrate every tiny, small thing that I see Him doing in my life. And those miracles never cease to amaze and delight me, and they are daily, yes. I thank God for everyone that has been placed in my path, especially those that surround me right now. Yeah, so in conclusion, we are all made of energy, which is love, and so is everything else besides our bodies. Every piece of furniture, every blade of grass, every empty space, the substance of matter is energy. That energy is love. And the force of sound pushes the energy by vibrating each little particle of energy, so that the energy takes shape And that is how the world is formed. That's why words have power. Words create. There's a lot of cool shit going on with quantum science, and that's basically the gist of it. You've heard of bits and pieces of it. You've known it by many names. They were all partial glimpses. Like I said, there's still no unified source to go and learn and understand the most simple breakdown of the facts. That's what really needs to be out there, because there's, I could point you to 1,000 sources and you could go and read them all and then you would understand everything that I know. But there's not like a list of simple facts that you can go and read and just kind of get the idea, It's really overwhelming. It's way deeper than that. But the cool thing is, even though the knowledge and wisdom about the universe, the body, and death and stuff like that is profound and hard to explain, I do know in my heart that it's possible to say it in one sentence. I just haven't figured out what that sentence is yet. But one sentence that I do like that is kind of on the right track is words create, or even better, sound creates. Here's another one I really like. Sound matters. Yes, that is true. It is the force of sound which literally materializes the material world. Everything that you think of as materialism truly is actually made of music. Well, no. It's made of love. Music is the force which makes it look like something else. That's about right. So, be careful what sounds you make with your lips, with your mind, with your heart. And be careful what sounds you expose your ears to. Also, do not forget that you possess the authority within your own mind to reject sounds. And if you do not exercise that authority, which is actually a responsibility to protect and guard your mind from external influences just being put into you like a trash can, you need to take control. You need to be the one that has a door, and every thought that comes into your mind is ringing your door bell, and you answer the door and look at the thought and see who it is, and sometimes you might slam the door in their face and be like, no, fuck you, thought, you ain't coming in my mind. That's what you need to do. Also, check out Dr. Caroline Leaf. Especially, she's got a book with a blue cover with a brain on the front called You Can Change Your Brain, The Key to Peak Thinking, Happiness, and Health by Dr. Caroline Leaf, PhD. You can also check her out on Instagram and YouTube and drleaf.com. But in my opinion, they all suck bad compared to her book. Try to get the audiobook or the hardcover book, both of which are available for free at your public library if you just take the energy to go over there and let them know that you want to order it, and they'll call you when it arrives or whatever. So that's the last thing I wanted to say, is if you are curious more about healing and how thoughts are actually physical things that physically affect reality, which really isn't physical because it's all spiritual, and how these facts are all proven by science, one source I would love to recommend to you is Dr. Leaf's book. So there you go. And I'll get at you later. It's time for me to go rock out a Christmas party. Peace. God bless all the saints. In Jesus' name, amen.